Now, um, so in this, welcome to another edition of the Your Africa training. So now, in this edition, we'll be looking at what is RPC and what is RPC endpoint and what are RPC providers. Now in our Solidity code, we actually so in our Solidity code for us to be able to deploy our smart contract to different blockchain, we actually need to add a configuration object for each blockchain we want to deploy to. And in the configuration object, we have this URL property on that object. So this URL property is basically known as what? It's basically known as RPC endpoint. And for us to get our RPC endpoint, our RPC endpoint is gotten from a RPC provider. So RPC provider, they are the ones that provide make RPC endpoint available for us. And what is RPC endpoint? RPC endpoint in simple term is basically an endpoint that enable us to interact with the blockchain from the front end. So now look at now for those that have experience in the Web2 background, for those that have experience in the web background, when you want to interact with your application from when you want the front end to interact with the back end, what you basically do is you provide an endpoint. So with the help of that endpoint, a front end application is able to interact with the back end application. So then with the help of that endpoint, a front end application can send various posts, get various type of requests to the back end of the Web2 applications. Now coming to the Web3 space too, you can also see a blockchain too as a Web2 server, but in this case it is decentralized. So now in this Web2 server, we push our code in it, we store everything there. For us to be able to interact with this blockchain application, we need what is called an RPC endpoint. It is with the help of this RPC endpoint we are able to perform various transactions. Without this RPC endpoint, it will be impossible for us to be able to perform operations like deploying our code to the blockchain, sending tokens to our friends and family, because there will not be a way to tell the blockchain to perform those actions. So in simple terms, an RPC endpoint is basically an endpoint that is provided to us by a RPC provider, and with the help of this RPC provider, we are able to send a lot of query to the blockchain. Now, now we have a lot of RPC providers, and we can also basically categorize them into two. We have a centralized RPC provider, we have a decentralized RPC provider. An example of a centralized RPC provider is we have Infura. So we have Infura. Just search for. So we have Infura, Infura.io. So Infura.io is an example of a centralized RPC provider. That is when we say that they are decentralized, that is the server, that is the dedicated computer that how will I put it? That is the dedicated computer, that is their computer. It is not decentralized. That is, it works like normal Web2 server, while decentralized, their server works like the way the blockchain is. So now, example of these RPC providers, we have Infura, we have Alchemy, we have I think Moralis, Alchemy, RPC provider. So we have Alchemy, Alchemy, we have Infura. This is Infura. We also have Pocket Network. But Pocket Network is a decentralized RPC provider. But this case, we'll basically be looking at how to set up, how to um how to get various RPC endpoints for various blockchain network. But for this case, you are going to be making use of the Infura RPC provider. So now let's go to our dashboard. So let me log out. Let me log out from my Infura. Let me log out. So let me log in now. So now for you to get your own RPC endpoint for your own project, you click on this red button called create new API. Then what type of projects are you making use of an IPFS, a Web3 API? In our own case, we are making use of what a Web3 API. In our then the name of your project, so test API, then click on create. Okay. So let me delete one of my API key here. Let me delete one of my projects. So currently now I'm being told I can't create more free. I've exceeded my free tier version, so I need to delete one of these API I created. So what I'm trying to have access to. Sorry, check. Okay. Okay, I've deleted sufficient. Okay, I've deleted enough of my API key that I previously created, so it's time for me to create a new one. So just test create, check my okay, recording, then so endpoints. So you click on the endpoint settings. So now basically now let's assume I want to deploy my um application to a Ethereum mainnet. So this is the RPC endpoint I will copy, then paste it in my environmental variable here. But for me to be able to deploy my smart contract to the Ethereum mainnet, I need to have a gas fee. So in this case, I'll be having a read token in it. But since all we are just doing is for test purposes, you can actually try out with your real money if you actually want to try out how to use the minutes, the Ethereum minute RPC endpoint to deploy to the Ethereum minute. For now, we'll be making use of the Sepolia testnet that is available currently. So now for let's assume you want to deploy to the Goerli testnet, you basically copy this, then copy the RPC endpoint, then you can now paste it in your environmental variable, then hit on, then execute the command, then make sure that you add your config. So now let's assume we want to deploy to Sepolia testnet. So we've added configuration for Sepolia testnet. Let's assume that we want to deploy to Goerli testnet. So we need to add the configuration object for Goerli testnet, then you then add your variable. So in this case now we need to obtain the RPC endpoint for Sepolia. So then you copy your RPC endpoint, which is this, then you paste it. So we are going to add it in our environmental variable. So we're going to add it now in environmental variable. Then let's give it a name, which will be Goeli. So exchange Sepolia to Goeli RPC URL. Then you copy the name, so add it. So you can access the name process.env.query RPC URL, then our account. So we need to go to our MetaMask to obtain our private key. So you need to switch to Goerli testnet. So we need to switch to Goerli testnet. So then So same private key is going to work for both our Goerli testnet and um both our Goerli testnet and our Sepolia testnet. So now you copy your private key. So but we need to send a test ether to our Sepolia account. Now for us to get the test ether, we need to check for Goeli test for set, Goeli test for set, testnet for set. Hopefully we are able to get one. So then I'm trying to get a test ether to my, so let me copy my address, paste. Okay, I'm not a robot. Sign in. Okay, paste my address, sign ether. Okay, I'm not a robot. Sign ether. Oh, okay. Okay, so I won't be able to have get a Goeli test, um a Goeli test token cause of this, but I'm sure we all understand how the whole process work. So the next thing is just go to your MetaMask, then obtain the chain ID. So let's go to the settings, then network. Let's go to the network and hit our Goeli testnet so that we can just obtain our chain ID. So our chain ID in this case is 5. So our chain ID in this case is 5. So then, sorry, our chain ID is 5. So now so all we need to do is it's still the same command. We just have to change the name of the network we are deploying to. So you can add that run script deploy.cs, then network. So what network? So the network we are deploying to is Goeli. Then so just copy the name here, paste it. So with this, we should be able to deploy our smart contract to the Goeli testnet. But the reason why I'm not able to deploy it is because I don't have enough test token to pay for gas fee. So that is why now. So now we've gotten to the end of this lecture. So now basically in this section we just look at what RPC endpoint is, how to create an RPC endpoint. But in our own case, we make use of the info RPC provider. I also explain what RPC provider is. I explain what RPC endpoint is. So I'm sure with this section, we should now be able to create our own RPC endpoint, deploy our own Solidity smart contract to our own testnet or whatever mainnet network we want to deploy to. Have a wonderful day. Stay blessed.